All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show, everybody. Memorial Day special, as we remember those who really gave it all for this country. I would say happy holiday to everybody, but it's a very somber holiday for many. But guys, good to see you. Ryan Smith back in the house, at R Smitty13, I should say, on Twitter. And then, of course, Dan Coccimilgio, who looks like he just knocked off the Arizona Giants shop right there. Looks like you took the shirt and the hat. Are you wearing? Do we have sliding pants or stirrups going today? No.
Yeah, you wearing a cup or no?
Yeah. Cup check.
Yeah.
Looks like Dan just beat up the guy for the souvenir guy. He went to town at the souvenir stand.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of Giants
garb,
paraphernalia, but it's throw it on for the big win, and bright orange kind of
set the tone on this on this day. Well, guys, good to see you both, and this was a great win for the Giants and Curt Casali. Let's talk Curt Casali for a second, because man, I mean, this guy, and Ryan, I don't know what the record was, and I don't know where I could go to get it. Maybe you do, but what was the Giants' record last year with Casali in the squat, as they like to say, because it was gaudy. It was a great record with him catching, and that, they won 107 last year, and you would think, oh man, those buster games would be games where they probably struggled, but you know what? They really didn't struggle. Casali was incredible in those games. And I thought, as we get things rolling here in the chat, a lot of people already joining us right out of the chute as we come to you on a Monday. And of course, we're awaiting the big Thursday night beginning of the NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Celtics. And if you want to weigh in on that, we can do that as well today. But the Giants get a much needed 5-4 win. And they get the road trip is now at 2-2 on the road trip. Is that what it is? What are they on the road trip?
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. So they get a great performance out of Webb. We'll talk about Kapler's decision to send Webb back out there in the 9th. But to me, I think this one's about Curt Casali. The throw out of Quinn was just an absolute P, and the Giants have not been good this year at throwing out runners. Teams have been stealing at will on them. Now, nobody really steals that much anymore, but the Giants' success ratio at gunning down base stealers was just not good at all this year. So to see Casali throw out Quinn, who you knew was in there to pinch run to try he was trying, steal second base. Hopefully Hoskins gets a bloop. That was Philly's game plan there. And he throws him out, and that was huge. And then to come back and get the low pitch and just absolutely crush it for a 2-run shot. And as you saw, with the runner on second and extras, that 2-run lead is massive, huge. If you can get a 2-run lead, in the 10th, you're living right. And they needed every run. They win by a run. But I thought Casali, and one of the things I want to get into about Casali, and I kind of already tipped you guys off in the text strand that we have, is, to me, he is the quintessential guy who's better than his stats. Some guys are not as good as their stats. Other guys are better than their stats. I thought maybe we could have a little fun on this somewhat somber, national holiday. People that we need to appreciate in sports who are better than their stats. You know what I mean? Guys who, you look at the batting average, it didn't look too great. You look at the power numbers, they don't look that great. But man, you put that guy in the field and your team wins. And to me, Curt Casali is that guy. He's one of those guys. I've now seen enough of Casali's game to know that he's just super underrated. Everybody loves him, but he's a tough guy. He can catch a good game. He can throw guys out. He's got a little power, but man, if you looked at his stats, you'd be like, man, you're going to struggle if you got to lean on Casali. And he won this game today.
Yeah, he looked good, and he really built himself up in the off season. He's pretty buff up top, and he's got some power. He had power prior to coming to the Giants, but last year he hurt his hand. He came into the season with a off-season hand injury, and he really could never get those wrists moving to utilize the power. But I heard in the 10th inning a couple of voices.
You're
come
hearing
back.
voices, Dan? Are you hearing
voices?
voices?
I heard voices. Yeah, it was two former great San Francisco Giants announcers. One, it was Lon Simmons. It was way back, way back, way back. Tell it goodbye. And then it was Russ Hodges before him. His call was bye bye baby, but this time he improvised and he said, "That's hit deep to left. Bye bye Bart."
Danny's been working on that all day, right?
Bye Bart.
Seriously, how many times did Buster have to hear that this afternoon before the show? You were working on that. You had that one cooked up. You had that one in the holster. I mean, you were firing that bullet.
Yeah, no more bye bye baby. That was a bye bye Bart shot. That shot just further.
Oh, but by the way, Romo 2001, Danny says, Dan's mic is muted. Sounds like it's his phone mic coming through. Yeah, your mic. I think your mic is either off.
You know what?
We're getting a super low mic out of Danny.
That is pretty low. Settings and see what I can.
You might want to change your settings around because I thought that was just me, but Romo 2001 says Dan's mic is muted, and believe me, if I really wanted to mute you, I could just absolutely mute you like I just did. And now there's zero sound. But let's unmute Danny because we don't want him to be muted. But yeah, you might want to check the sound on that. What'd you think, Rye? I mean, obviously a huge win for the Giants, 5-4. Cincinnati was disappointing, man. They went into Cincinnati and luckily they found a way to steal one, so they don't get swept. And now they go into Philadelphia, and this Philadelphia team can absolutely hit. And it was good to see the Giants. It was great. To me, I know people can be critical of Cap throwing Logan Webb out there. Just so people know, Webb had thrown for the game. He threw 100 pitches, but he went 8. 4 hits, 3 runs. They were earned. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 10. I thought it was a terrific performance from Webb. What'd you think, Ryan?
Oh, I thought it was great. And sorry for my dull stare. I'm trying to figure out how to come up with their record with Casali last year. So let me know if you want me to do. I'll try and get more into the weeds on this, but right now I'm just every game that he played in, which includes a lot of one pinch hit, but they were 54 and 23. So that's 77 games, and in 55 of those he was a starter. So I'm just trying to figure out how to sort through. Get rid of those 22 games where he didn't start. But either way, I mean, it was definitely great. And I think the big takeaway from this game is there was a lot of great stuff to see. It was is the number one story Webb is looking excellent, and he's making it into the 9th inning, and he's just what was it? 4 hits and 3 were home runs.
Yeah,
I mean, he was shoving, and no walks, 10 strikeouts. And it was so brutal, too, because it's just the past couple outings. It was I'm just thinking about the Colorado outing where we're all like, oh, should have just left Webb in. He's not, he keeps getting screwed on these wins. And then it's just tough. But yeah, I don't even think that's the biggest story. I think the bats, Longoria is just still rolling, hitting home runs. And then Casali, man, I think we may have found a catcher. And I mean, that was the Curt Casali game. We've been talking about, okay, well, has Joey Bart actually lost them a game? And it's yeah, he has. We started paying attention. Yes, we saw a game where he literally lost them the game. Curt Casali just won them a game. So I think that's kind of the difference right now. Is I think we may have a starting catcher, and his name may be Curt Casali.
Well, and he's got the average up to 262. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Ed Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Ted Williams. Schwarber went deep to tie the game. That obviously was a painful shot for the Giants. But yeah, I mean, basically, if you're just tuning in now, what was the Giant game today? Well, Castellanos, who's just an awesome hitter, he went deep to left in the 2nd to make it 1-0 Phils. And then Hoskins went deep to left in the 4th to make it 2-0 Phils. But Flores got it back with a 2-run shot to left left himself with Yaz aboard in the 6th. So you had a 2-2 ball game, and it stayed 2-2 going to the 9th, and then Longoria hits a shot to left center, 411 feet.
By the way, I've got the call on this, and I promise we're not going to get flagged.
No, seriously.
I promise. But did you see? Were you listening to the volume? Because we totally called it. Our announcers totally called it.
Oh, Fleming and Estes.
Yeah, Fleming. Yeah,
I actually videotaped that and sent it to a buddy of mine. Yeah.
Oh, okay, funny. Okay, here we go. And that was pretty awesome.
And they were talking earlier. Is my mic any better?
Slightly, but it does sound kind of muted still. It sounds kind of like you might have the wrong setting on. You might want to check your settings.
I did a test and everything, and it said I'm on. But
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Rise? How's Danny's mic there?
All right, we're gonna do a little live. Producing. Just 1 minute. Okay, Dan, click settings, go to audio, and then what is your mic? It says the Yeti.
Yeti. Yeah.
What about the speaker? It says headphones.
The speakers. Hold on, let me see. Speakers. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Maybe
Romo 2001 does not sound like the silky sounds of the silver mic, and
it's not the Dan. It's not the Dan Coccimilgio that we're used to.
But Dan, just to be, why don't we do our version of a test just to see? Does it sound similar to this?
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam.
All right. Now do it again.
Oh man,
maybe there you go.
How's that? Is that any better?
No, wait.
Wiggins drives to the hoop. He goes up, monster slam. How's that?
Well, it was entertaining hearing you do it again. Absolutely.
Yeah, there was
good enough.
Yeah, is that a little better? I think I was on the wrong setting.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that is better. That is better. Kapler, Robert Rothberg says Kapler showed faith in Webb, who'd only thrown 98 pitches at the time. See, I didn't really have a problem with it. Why? Because the Giants are trying to establish themselves this season, and this is their ace. So you know what? They're trying to show that it's time to go. It's time to lay it all out there. This is their ace. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to run them out there for 110, 120, 130. I mean, there are limits pitch count wise, but as Robert mentions here, he was well within his range, 98 pitches. It was interesting though, because when Webb came off in the 8th, they showed Kapler and him shaking hands. You had the indication there that maybe that was going to be it. But you know what? I admire Logan Webb for saying, you know what? I'm the ace on this staff. This is the beginning of a series. We're almost into June. It's go time, fellas. Get on my back. I'm going to carry us to the finish line. So, I kind of liked it. I liked it. I mean, I wouldn't like it if it was Anthony DeSclafani. I wouldn't like it if it was Alex Cobb or I mean, just what's that?
Or Wood.
Yeah. I mean, but with Logan Webb, I mean, this is your guy, right? So I like the fact that they showed faith in him, and let's be honest, they don't have a lights out 9th inning guy. If they had a lights out 9th inning guy, a righty who they could depend on. I will say this though, the Leon Harper at bat. Man, that was macho, man. He threw him some nasty sliders. He ran the fastball up and in on him. I mean, I thought that was an incredibly well pitched at bat. I was worried that Harper was going yard, and Leon just he I like it when you show the guy a breaking pitch and he just doesn't see it or swings right through it. So many pitchers go away from that. It's like, give it to him again. He didn't see it the first time. I think he struck him out on the first pitch and the third pitch or the first pitch and the fourth pitch of the at bat were sliders right down the pipe, and Harper it was like he couldn't touch it, missed it by a foot.
Oh yeah. And getting back to Webb, I saw some earlier comments with Anonymous and Romo before we came on. They were saying Well, let's read it. Anonymous. Literally, how can Kapler make the
Wait,
wrong pitching
there we go. I'll highlight it for you. Where is it? Is it up top
in
somewhere?
the beginning? Yeah, right at the beginning before we came on.
Well, hold on so I can. Here we go. Literally, anonymous. Literally, how can Kapler make the wrong pitching decision every single time? Is that the fourth time this year he's left a pitcher in who's through, only to have the pitcher blow it in only 46 games? So he's basically critical of Kapler's feel. That what he's criticizing there is Kapler's feel for when to pull the starter. Danny, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, and then Romo commented to Anonymous, makes no sense why he sent Webb out for the ninth when they just got the lead. Well, here's why I disagree.
Who's the choice? Let's talk about the choice. It's Webb or Doval, right?
Or Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah. So the reason I had no problem with this, Webb had only thrown 98 pitches. He had no stress innings. He gave up the home runs. All of the runs were scored on home runs. He'd only
very
given
efficient game, no walks,
no stress whatsoever. He had a few innings where he got out of it with less than 10 pitches of just ground ball, fly ball, and a strikeout or whatever. It was just very quick work that he was making. And the fact is he was up 3-2. I don't think he would have went out there if it was tied 2-2. Kapler gave him a shot at a complete game victory. And I applaud Gabe for actually letting him do that, because the analytics probably said, well, you're facing Schwarber for the fourth time, and this is probably not a good matchup. Schwarber's due. And, it turned out that way. But still, 98 pitches is not a lot of pitches when you consider guys really can go 110 to 115. But like you said, we're at the end of May. He's had close to 10 starts. He's stretched out.
And it's warm. It's a warm day. He's lubed up, right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing, too. Well, it looked very warm. Did you guys see what the weather was in Philly today?
It was a balmy something, but it was humid.
It was humid, right? So anybody who's played in humidity as opposed to San Francisco April and May weather. San Francisco April and May weather is cold and damp and it's chilly out there. I mean, we've had some really cold nights to start this year. Now you got them in Philly in a big series, trying to set the tone, coming off of a very disappointing series. So let's be honest, the Giants, they're not stressed because it's early in the year, but you just lost 2 out of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds. All right. And you look what you had to do to get out of Cincy with a win. I mean, you almost got swept by the Reds. So the Giants are looking to go to Philly and make a statement and say, hey, rest of the National League, here we are. We're not just going to roll over and die. They had their ace on the mound, as you said perfectly. He had low stress. He struck out 10, but for the game, he only threw 100 pitches.
Right, he was at 98.
How many games is Rodon is at 101 in the bottom, or he's in the 5th or 6th inning? I mean, Rodon's
that's the guy I'd like to see them kind of keep to
baby him a little bit because his arm is.
He gets every year he tires out. Last year he didn't have it. His shoulder got fatigued. I mean, I don't know why they're pushing him at 100 pitches so early in the season. That doesn't make sense to me.
The Webb thing it's similar to the Jimmy Butler 3 the other night. That became the talking point, but it's if the Butler 3 goes in, he's a freaking hero. If Webb stays out there and just gets 3 more outs, we're all like, oh my God, is that a defining moment of the season? Webb just going complete game.
He was good today too. I mean, I was looking at his pitch breakdown, right? He had 23 called strikes, but he had 15 swing and misses. On swinging strikes, I should say, and then 15 foul balls, 17 balls put in play, that were strikes. So, I mean, Logan Webb was a very efficient 8 innings, I think is the bottom line. And they're looking to get the win, man. They're looking to get the win, and they're worried about how do they get to the finish line. And the pen's been sometimes good, sometimes not good. McGee has struggled. Doval's a very young pitcher. You know what I mean? You're trying to get this series going in a good vibe. And so he leaned on his ace. If it was anybody but the ace, I don't know. But because the Giants don't really have that kind of pitcher for the most part. But you're leaning on a guy who's not just a one pitch guy. He's a multiple pitch guy who's got multiple ways to get guys out. I liked it. And then, the only thing I would have said is I would have stayed with him. I would have stayed with him after you up the hit.
Yeah.
But at that point, after you get the home run, I was going to say I would have stayed with him, but they went to the pen, and luckily Leon looked great. I thought Leon was terrific. If Leon looks that good the rest of the year, they're going to be in good shape. The bigger issue with me is, the Giants' offense is so enigmatic. It was Danny quoting top 3 runs scored stats like just a couple days ago, and yet today you're looking at them and you're going, wow. This offense at times really, really struggles. Now Yaz is going good. Though he is going to be shaving that mustache coming up in a couple days.
Yeah. So,
it's a bushy mustache at this point, but I don't know. I think it's probably time for it to go. But then Flores, had a decent ball game. Longoria obviously hit the big shot. They're not getting, though, consistent offense. And there's times where it feels like, wow, this offense is really lagging. So it's kind of a weird feel this year with them offensively.
Yeah, Larry, it's a lot, though, like last year especially today. Last year, they got most of their runs on the long ball. They hit 230-something plus homers last year. And they really never were a team that, moved the line, so to speak. They seem to get a key walk or maybe a 2-out hit and a bang drive. So we saw that again today. All 5 runs were scored via the long ball. And, you don't see a lot of guys getting a single and then a single and a double. And, the one thing the Dodgers I've seen is I watch a lot of their games. They seem to be able to, with that lineup, to all of a sudden put up 5-6 runs so quick with no home runs. And
how come you watch their games so much, Tim?
Yeah, geez, Dan.
Yeah. What are you doing? What's going on? You want to talk about that? Do you have a whole nother closet of blue gear that you bust out for their games?
By the way, have you seen Mookie Betts?
Two different dogs. That's my dog. Here comes my dog, Sosha. Come here, Sosha. Come here, Sosha. And then the other one we just call Bulldog for Hershiser. It's Bulldog and Sosha. Yeah, Bulldog and Sosha. And here's my blue hat. And here's my Dodgers shirt.
No, I have Oral and Sacks.
Coming up next, we talk with Rick Monday. Is that what it is? Are you a double agent? I feel like you've gone behind enemy lines. That's my dog. What's your dog's name? Buster. Oh yeah, great. We fell for it. Oh
yeah. Hey Buster, they're giving you a hard time. Come here.
Danny's a double. If you think Dan's a double agent, let us know in the chat.
Come on, Buster. Show him what's going on here. Don't let him talk about you like that, Buster.
Buster, is that Buster's got a Buster's like, where's my blue master? Where's I only respond.
Say hello to everybody, Buster. I got to move the camera down.
Buster's a good-looking dog.
Yeah, Buster's he doesn't like. It's a good thing I got these headphones on because he can't hear you. Talking blasphemy about all those guys.
About his master.
Yeah,
Out of here, podcast. Rick Monday, LOL. Yeah, I don't know. It was a great win for the Giants. 5-4. More than anything, though, can you guys think of, just as I threw out off the rip? Can you think of guys in sports that are better? Who are better than their stats? And the other one that comes to mind for me as a Giants fan is definitely Robbie Thompson. Thompson's stats were always like, eh. And if you want to go way, way back, I always thought Johnny LeMaster was way better than his stats because he just had incredible range at shortstop and a terrific arm, and his stats were terrible, right? I mean, every year you look at him, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy hit 204 or something, or hit 198 or 220 or something. But he covered the entire field. I mean, he was an incredible defensive player. But to me, Curt Casali is in that Robbie Thompson category right now, guys, where he's like, you look at his numbers and you go, Now he's got the average around 250, 260, which is good. But I mean, even if he's hitting 230, he comes up with big hits. He's got power. To me, I think based on what I've seen, it's June now. Okay. I would play Casali as my number one catcher. Absolutely. And I would play Bart as my backup, and then just let Bart get, a couple starts a week and work with him before the games. And if they don't want to farm him out, then don't farm him out. But I don't see how that's a good idea. I'd rather see him farmed out and get a consistent at-bats. But if they feel like their major league coaches are, the best they got, and they can develop him better by playing him twice a week and developing him at 5 o'clock, a couple hours before the game, then do that. But I think it's time for Casali to kind of be the everyday catcher. He should be the one, and Bart should be the two. Are you guys with me on that, or do you disagree?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And we're already seeing that. We were seeing it before he went out with a concussion. He comes back. He's played 3 out of the 4 games since he's been back as the starter. I think he played Friday, Sunday, or Saturday, and yesterday or today. So 3 out of the last 4. Bart got 1 start against Cincinnati. I can't remember which game it was. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, because Bart came in and pinch hit and was the talk of our show about getting thrown out by 108 feet. Yeah.
This is kind of interesting. Out of Here podcast. I'm curious as to why Walton is here instead of David Villar or VR. Seems like VR would be a huge boost with how he's hitting in sack. It all comes down the thing about their sensitivities here. Evan Longoria has been out with an injury. Evan Longoria is an established veteran. And if you want to disrupt your chemistry, just take a rookie who can play third base and promote him and sit Longoria on the bench. I mean, that right there would probably disrupt their chemistry, which is probably why you haven't seen it. I mean, if Longoria gets hurt, that's one thing. Correct. And maybe they can just play him every day for a few weeks. And that almost seems like it's almost like part of the plan, knowing that he could get hurt at this point. But with Longoria, the veteran here, he's an everyday guy. He's got to get all the ABs. I mean, you saw the shot that he hit. I mean, they don't have too many guys like that. I mean, is he long in the tooth? Has he played his best baseball? Is he a veteran who was better 3-4 years ago? Yeah. But if he's on the roster, he's the everyday third baseman.
Yeah. It all comes down to positions. Walton could play second. He could play short, give Crawford a day off. He could play third. He can even play a little left field. Villar, like you said, Larry, they're not going to bring up a guy and sit Longoria. So I do believe if the bats don't start to wake up here, that there may be some type of shakeup before the All-Star break where you might see a David VR come up and possibly they make possibly the next injury that comes to a giant infielder. You could see someone like VR because he's hit 15 homers and hitting 300, and they might want to just see what he's got while he's hot in the minors, kind of like they did with Mac Williamson a few years ago when he was hitting a home run every game down in Sacramento. They brought him up and he starts hitting home runs here, and then he has that terrible freak accident where he trips over the bullpen mound and ruins his career. So sometimes when a guy is hot, you want to take a look at him, see what you got before the trade deadline to see if maybe he stays hot, and then maybe you can move a veteran in a deadline deal. So
they got 2 months, though. I mean, let's be honest. It's May 30th. You got 2 full months to take a look.
Right.
This one is interesting. Rebel 444. Meanwhile, they trade Hayden Cantrell, who was in Double-A, and assign him to their Arizona League team, which he says make it make sense. I think you got to remember on all these moves that are on the kind of the moves on the edges, if you will, the incremental improvement. They're just looking to try to increase their 40-man depth and have some better options for themselves in a month. So all those situations where you're seeing guys being, added and this and that, it's like, they're kind of Farhan's bottom surfing, hoping to, find lightning, hit lightning in a bottle, right, to catch it. And he did that with Yaz. He did that with Wade. He's hoping to do the same thing. At this point, we kind of know the moves, right? It's like, it's going to be no-name guys, and some are going to wash out. Some are going to be minor league depth, and maybe 1 or 2 he's going to hit on. And it's like almost by design. That's the kind of the plan. So, I don't know. I don't get too exercised, guys, about these moves and what Farhan's doing. Rye, what do you think? I mean, we see Farhan make a move like 3 days a week. To me, overall, I like it because I think he's smart, and I think he's already unearthed, 3 or 4 good gems. They're not all-stars, but they're contributors.
Yeah, I just don't want to, the more we're going, doing more and more post games, and, we've done a lot of talking about Farhan's moves and questioning this and that with the minor leaguers, bringing up who. I'm now kind of in the camp where I just don't really, I don't care as much. Villar, I think you're spot on, Larry. Longoria is a leader in the locker room. It's not dissimilar to like the Poole Clay thing where, Poole's playing great, but when Klay Thompson comes back, he's not giving up a starting spot. He didn't have to change his game for KD. So he's not going to change his game for Poole. And I think it's the same thing for Longoria. And I actually really kind of like Walton. He's a pretty darn good defender. That was a great tag he put on.
That was a great tag.
Great freaking tag. And I like him. And back to your original segment idea that we've just totally no-sold on you. the guys that play better than their stats. And I wrote some down before this.
I'm working on some too.
Yeah, they're all kind of homer picks, I have to say. Because, I spend so much time watching our teams, I kind of realize that. But I put, for example, Jimmy Butler, better than his stats. He's going crazy in the playoffs.
No, the three-pointer last night was not the right shot. You had 18 seconds left. He had Al Horford backpedaling. His game, he's not Klay Thompson. He's not Steph Curry. His game is put it on the deck and go to the hole. I thought if he put it on the deck and went to the hole there, it's a tie game. It's a tie game. You've got all the momentum in the world. And, you've gotten like 6 stops in a row. My goodness, to me, keep the pressure on. If it was 7 seconds left, maybe, but with 17 or 18 on the clock, drive that ball in and lay it in, draw the foul, 3-point play. You're the athlete. You've got the big man backpedaling, and there was no help coming, man. Horford was not getting help. So he was going to be able to put it on the deck, go by him, use his body as a shield, probably get the end one, could have won the game right there.
Yeah,
that was my thinking.
Instead he hoists the 3 ball, and Spoelstra's like, I don't know about that. They showed Spoelstra, you could tell.
Yeah,
I don't know that. And then the announcers were trying to be like, I'm not going to question that or whatever. It's Jimmy Butler. He's your best player. Yeah, but he's your best player, but he's not a 3-point marksman. Go to the tin. as Rafferty would say.
So I got to push back on that a little bit, just because when I was watching it and like when he put it up, I was like, I was actually hoping he was going to shoot a 3 there. I was like, just take the kill shot, just kill him, just take the kill shot, because he's been so hot. And I mean, he has hit a couple. He's not a 3-point shooter, but he's hit a couple, and he's been in a crazy zone. And he played all 48 minutes. I don't think he wanted to go to overtime, and I also think that, you know, if they go to overtime, the Celtics are still favored, I would say, more than a 50% chance. If he makes a 2 there, okay, Celtics have a chance to win the game. Also, by shooting the 3, you know, they could maybe get a rebound, and if they don't...
Wait a second. If he makes the 3...
They're up 1.
They're up 1. So the Celtics have a chance to go beat you at the end anyway.
I know.
So why not just take the surefire 2 or draw the foul and go to the line? I mean, we're 2-3 centric there. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I think
about the 48 minutes,
and it's also a tough 3 too, because he's like coming up the court, and then he had to lean. You're trying to go straight up and down, but you've got so much momentum coming forward. It's impossible not to kind of lean into that shot. I don't know. I mean, if Steph Curry does it, fine, but Steph Curry's, that's his shot, and he's got body control. For Jimmy Butler, put it on the deck. Go to the rim. Now, maybe I just read that wrong, but I wanted to see him do that because that would have extended the game. Instead,
that was my take too. I think Jimmy, like you said, Ryan, he didn't want to go to overtime. He played all 48 minutes. They were gassed, and his mindset was to go for the kill. He said. I heard,
but it wouldn't have been a kill. They would have been.
Well,
here's the
still there's 14 seconds left. Yeah,
they'd be up 1 with 16 seconds left. That's not the kill.
Right, exactly. But, you know, I did think he should have went to the hoop myself, because Horford was backpedaling. Jaylen Brown had got down there, but he had 5 fouls, so I don't think he would have tried to contest too much. And like you said, Larry, it's possibility with his strength, he could have drawn the foul. And
you're at home, stretch the game out. Plus, you had all the momentum. Marcus Smart had missed like 4 threes or something like that. I mean, it was like, you're at home, you've got the home crowd, stretch that bad boy out, and you have these. You got these guys reeling. Instead, you bailed them out with one shot that, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if it went, but even if it went, so what? The game wasn't over. Boston had another shot at it. I don't know. It was either way. I thought Miami was, I mean, to lose 3 times on your home floor. I mean, you really, you know what I mean? I don't want to hear about this call, this sequence, that sequence, this shot, that shot, really, when you lose 3 times on your home floor.
I agree with that, but also, I mean, that freaking 3, that was wild. I've never seen that before, where they just took that off the board. Yeah, and it's like, it was too close, I think, to call, and they never alerted anybody about it. And think about this. If they have that 3, sure, maybe butterfly effect things are different, but Jimmy Butler has the ball up 1 with like 20 seconds.
Yeah, that was kind of they must have had a better shot in Secaucus of his, where they blew it up with his foot on the line, because it almost looked like his heel may not even have touched.
But how many times have we, even in the finals, how about when KD, that one really obvious one where he like clearly stepped out of bounds and then we score, and it's like they never change those, like the play's over. Like,
well, to me, what they're doing shows me that they have replay that can change the effect of a game after the play's already made. Why not, instead of all these stupid reviews, or you get one challenge, when you see an obvious ball? There was one play last night where it went clearly off of a knee of one of the Celtics toward the end of the game, and they just gave it to the Celtics. And, we all saw it on TV. When it's that obvious, just correct it. You don't need to review it. Just make the correction and say, they did it on a shot like that affected the game.
All of a sudden, the importance of the game, it's like, we must lean on replay on everything. This game means too much for me to say that, even though I saw it go off his knee, I can't say for sure it went off his knee. So I've got replay, so I'm just lean on replay. Yeah, it's funny. We've had replay for a relatively short amount of time, but you can kind of already see it.
Well,
you can kind of already see it. I'll tell you what I don't like. I'll tell you the one thing I don't like about replay, and we saw it in the Giants game today, and we saw it in the Giants game yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't like in horse racing when there's a tough call, they don't say the 4-horse won pending replay. That's not what they say. They say inquiry. We don't know who won. We're going to go take a closer look. And then they go take a closer look and they make their best call based on they've got a camera that takes 1,000 pictures. So they can, in horse racing, obviously, they know they're at the finish line. There's noses and horses and bobbing and dirt. So they've got literally the best camera work anybody could ever want right at the finish line. So they're never going to have, it was inconclusive. No, it's always going to be conclusive. But we saw it on the tag today with Luis Gonzalez. It's like they in baseball, they say you're out unless we have video evidence that concludes otherwise. And then it's like, well, wait a second. We only have so many angles and we can't really tell about the fibers. And, it's a little bit of a murky situation. So, we're just going to go with the call on the field.
Why don't we do what the NBA did in the Grizzlies series and just call it a jump ball? They'll call on the field jump ball.
for a play at the plate. Yeah. No, but I mean, why do we have to, why can't we just say, inquiry? And then we go to the tape, and then whatever looks like it happened, then it happened. Right now, we've got this bastardization of we're introducing all these other concepts. It's like, well, you only have a certain number of challenges, and you can't challenge this, and it's inside of 2 minutes and outside of 2 minutes. How about just if it overturned the bad calls, get your challenge system and throw that out. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like we've got all these things. Forget your predisposition. Well, he called it this way on the field. So forget all that. Just let's look at it and what does it most look like and go with that. Because I think we've seen it now twice in 2 days where the right call doesn't ultimately come out because the call on the field was the wrong call and there wasn't overwhelming video evidence to overturn it. And that's a different standard. Which
makes replay just a ridiculous point. Why have
it's an exercise in futility?
You're not going to get the correct call when everybody could see it. I mean, we all saw that the guy was safe, that Bart missed the tag the other day. Everybody, I mean, we're Giants fans, and you ever said, "Oh, the guy was safe," And then we saw it again today that
on the tag. On the Walton play. Which one are you talking
Walton,
about?
I mean Gonzalez. Gonzalez got his hand in there.
Yeah, on the Gonzalez. Yeah.
But speaking of inquiries, I won a nice race at Golden Gate Fields. Actually, I didn't win the race, but I got in the money from an inquiry. They disqualified one horse, and my horse moved into show. And
how long ago was this? Was this recently?
A couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
19 actually, before the pandemic. Yeah.
I'm not judging you, man. I've been to the track. I've been to Santa Anita. I've been to Del Mar.
You like Santa Anita down there in Arcadia?
Yeah. Love Santa Anita.
Drive
racing.
Right off
the guy. That's how he starts Trevor Denman, the great Trevor Denman. And racing. It's awesome.
So anyway, so I also wrote down Justin Smith.
For the Niners.
Yeah, I actually wrote Jimmy G. I actually think he is a little better than the stats say. Draymond.
Draymond's better than the stats for sure.
Fred VanVleet. Honestly, Steph Curry.
Fred VanVleet's a good one. Fred VanVleet is definitely better than his stats. I'll tell you another guy who I think is better than his stats. Kevon Looney's a great call. How about Kyle Lowry? Kyle Lowry is definitely better than his stats. He's really good. We're
talking all sports, not just baseball.
Yeah, all sports.
Okay.
I mean, some sports like football, certain positions they don't have stats, so there's that, right?
Brandon Belt, I think we'd all say.
He's streaky. He's been a very streaky player for sure. As far as better than their stats,
but an important player, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually a good defensive player. Like I would say this. Until last year when he had a bust out year, I would say Brandon Crawford was a classic example of a player who was consistently better than his stats. You looked at his stats and you're like, 240, whatever. And you're like, you know what? I wouldn't trade that guy for anything. It's like, what? You wouldn't trade him for anything. He hit 238 or something. It's like, yeah, but you got to watch this guy every day. If you watch him every day, you see the value that he brings. And so usually it's almost always somebody who's great at defense and not much offensively.
Gary Payton, second.
Gary Payton, the second, is way better than his stats. Gary Payton, the fact that Gary Payton didn't have a spot in the NBA with a long-term contract just shows you how we're an offensive-driven culture when it comes to our basketball. We talk about defense, but we don't reward defense. I mean, that guy is an incredible shutdown defender, and yet he didn't even have a job. The Warriors themselves waived him within a year.
Right.
They waived him. They just got lucky that nobody picked him up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, was there another question? I can't remember. I got them mixed up. But I also wanted to say, if you looked at today's Giants lineup, like, okay, outside of Fairchild, pinch hitting and, Walton, of course, like, I don't know. It was like the first time where I was looking at the lineup and I was like, that's actually not like that bad of a lineup. Like Listella's hitting he's hitting 256. He was 0 for today, but like he's been hitting. Then Yaz is hitting 300. Wilmer's, I trust Wilmer. Jock 270. Crawford 222. That's a little sad. And then Longoria, the best 240 hitter in the league probably right now.
No, they've pieced it together. Luis Gonzalez is giving them some good run. He's hitting 323 with a 364 on base. Yeah. He looks good. Peterson's hot. Yaz has had a really good season to this point. Ruff started off in the deep freeze, but he's starting to pull himself out of it. Yeah, it's not that it's not that their lineup is consistently bad or anything. It's that they're not as deep as they were. Yeah. So a lot of these guys that we're talking about right here were guys that were coming off the bench. Flores last year came off the bench a lot. Ruff came off the bench. Now you're leaning on these guys to play every day. They're just a guy or two short right now.
I think with Wade and Belt being out and the amount of right-handed pitching they've faced, it's really put a crimp in the lineup because Wade, facing right-handers is pretty solid, and Belt, and once you get that lineup and you start getting back-to-back good at bats, and you have guys that you're facing that are, really solid hitters against right-handed pitching, what's happened with the lineup is they've got a few holes because of injuries, and they're forced to play a guy like Darren Ruff against right-handed pitching who's kind of looking like he's tired again. He's taken pitches that are just right down Broadway, and he's not even swinging at them, or he's swinging through good pitches. Ruff is really good as a 3-day-a-week player and a pinch hitter.
The thing about him, he's a guy that you have on the bench who's a threat in the late innings against left-handed pitching. Right. And the Giants have to play him every day because they're not deep enough. He's hitting 212 off right-handed pitching. So the on base is similar, right and left, but the average is 30 points higher against left-handed pitchers than it is against right-handed pitchers. But if they had more, if they had other options, they could use him in his role a little bit better.
Right. That's been the problem with Wade out, and you've got Belt out of the lineup. That just makes every other guy that might be on the bench have to play, and so your bench gets a little thinner. So, you could actually have, with Belt and Wade in the lineup, and Slater in there, you can have Slater on the bench, Ruff on the bench, Estrada on the bench, all those guys to come in and pinch hit. And now you're noticing that guys are playing deeper into the game because they don't have that bench, whereas Gabe used to platoon guys in the fifth inning when all of a sudden they pull the starter and there's another pitcher in, you start doing matchups, switching from the fifth inning on. You're not seeing that too much, and because the bench is just not as deep right now. So, you have Fairchild, who who looks like a really good defensive ball player.
By the way, were you guys surprised he didn't rob that home run? It seemed like he just
did you guys see an angle? Did you see the angle on that? Because to me, the center field angle looked like he maybe almost got the glove on it, but then we never got the angle, the side angle that shows you how close. I don't know if
he needed another step to get to be able to jump.
It wasn't that he wasn't fast enough. He just mistimed it.
Yeah,
That's what I saw.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it just barely cleared his glove. It looked like if he had jumped just a little sooner and had the opportunity. But that's a tough play. He's running full speed to get out there to make the leap, and it's pretty tough to time it when you're running full speed. But the guys on the broadcast say he's got some power. I haven't, maybe he was a second round draft pick, right, Larry, for Cincinnati, I believe.
Yeah. So, he's a good athlete, but he's another guy who's just, hasn't really established himself yet. And they're giving him some ABs and seeing if he can. I haven't seen anything yet that makes me think, wow, they really got something there. Have you guys seen anything from Fairchild that makes you say, wow?
He looked good. He looked good running in on Casali's home run, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. He had a phenomenal home run trot. It is amazing, though, when you think about it. The Giants are 26-21 in a tough division, right? I mean, let's face it, the Dodgers and the Padres, you could make an argument, might be right there with the best teams in baseball. I mean, those are good teams, and with a lot of talent. And the Giants are 26-21, 13-10 on the road. And you look at their lineup, and we're seeing it every day, and we're seeing the effectiveness of Gonzalez and Casali getting hot, and Longoria starting to look a little better, and Peterson has been red hot this week. Yaz gotten off to a good start. Stella's now healthy, and we're looking at it and we're thinking, wow, it's not bad. Then you look at Philly. Philly's got Schwarber, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Reese Hoskins, Alex Bohm. They got Mickey Moniak back today. And then you look at their record, they're 21-28, the three games under 500 at home.
It's been their bullpen.
Knable
has been
they don't have to
one. And also some of their guys. I mean, Schwarber's hitting 188. Hoskins is hitting 215. That there's that too. But yeah, I mean, it's more than just the hitters. It's obviously their pitching. But I mean, I'm even surprised because they've got some name quality guys in that pen. Knable, Brad Hand, Jesus Familia. It's not like those guys. Hand is a 1.29 ERA, but they've got some guys with some track records in their pen, and with that lineup, they're 21-28. I mean that to me, I mean that's a little bit. Don't you think that's a little surprising? I mean they get some big time sticks there.
Oh yeah, if I was a Phillies fan, I would just be so pissed, seeing okay, the Giants have Gabe Kapler, they just won 107 games, and now I'm looking at my roster compared to their roster, and then yet we have basically flipped records. What the heck?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, we're speaking of our division teams and how loaded they are. So, of course, we all know Machado's just been on a freaking tear all year. Can I read Mookie Betts' stats for this last month? Because what
do they look like?
It is horrifying. So, as of April 30th, Mookie Betts was hitting 214, all right? Since then, he's been hitting 346 with 12 home runs over his last 26 games.
Wow. Yeah, he's hot. Yeah. Isn't that right, Sosha?
Yeah, he hasn't really.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've been scared.
Come here, Pedro Guerrero.
He's a really clutch player, and I didn't like facing him in the playoffs. But he hasn't been that crazy MVP Mookie Betts, Mike Trout level hitting, since he's been a Dodger. But it seems like he's just turned it on. It's great.
It's funny. I was debating whether or not the Giants have a good hitting team or not. And then Rebel 444 says, well, being top 3 in runs scored makes me optimistic. Then Anonymous jumps in with and bottom 3 in defense. And then this is kind of interesting. Nick Martinez says back to Rebel 444, true that the Giants have been top 3 in runs scored, but they've only scored 0, 1, or 2 runs in 30% of their games. That's kind of what I'm seeing as well, guys. It's like the numbers as a whole look pretty good, but man, how many times have you tuned into the Giants this year and they're getting 0 offensively? As Nick is saying here, they're scoring 2 runs or less in about a third of their games.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough to watch, actually. Without the home runs, the key home runs today, they didn't do anything. I didn't see any offense. There was I'm trying to even remember any hits. I think Yaz got a hit.
Gonzo
got a hit, and that was, I don't remember any like, hey, there's a nice hit. It was just home runs. It was just timing. Yeah. So it's tough to watch lately, even against Cincinnati, another bandbox that you should be able to crush the ball. And I mean, you look at the Reds hitters, they've had guys last year that were all a bunch of guys hitting over 300. The guy they traded to Seattle, Jesse Winkler, and then Castellanos. And
Winker's not hitting for Seattle.
That's weird. Well, he left Cincinnati. He left that yard. And then the Giants went in there and didn't hit the ball at all. So, yes, something's got to happen with the bats. And, Larry, I know you've been talking a lot about Josh Bell with the Nationals. I've been thinking about that more recently because Brandon Belt is eligible right now to come off the IL. And I heard he may come off in Miami, but it's a reoccurring knee problem. He's had to have the knee drained. He's had surgery on that same knee twice. It gave him problems last year. He's only signed to a 1-year deal. He took that qualifying offer for $18 million. And I'm starting to think maybe the Giants don't want to sign a 34, 35-year-old next year to a 2-year deal or even a 1-year deal. He's not available very much. Last year, he only played 98 games. And, the best, what's the saying? The best player is an available player or something like that?
The best ability is availability.
Yeah, best ability. Yeah. He's just I love Belt when he's in the lineup. I really do. I think he's a catalyst to the team. He is kind of the so-called captain. He's the guy that gets the clubhouse loose and he has fun. And I really like Brandon Belt.
He leads the way as far as his at-bats. I mean, he knows the zone. He can grind out a good pitcher. I love him when he's in there.
I think he's I personally think he's one of those underrated guys. Last year he hit 29 home runs in only 98 at bats. He carried the team. He has the ability to carry a team more so maybe than anybody in the lineup. Like Jock Peterson could do it too, but Belt can hit 6 home runs in a week, and he gets hot.
Streaky. He's a very streaky player,
and I really like. He's a solid first baseman, a great guy to throw to from the infielder's position. I like Belt. I just hope he comes back healthy and can remain in the lineup, because if Belt plays and he plays up to his capabilities, this is a team that can definitely win 90-plus games.
Yeah. They need him, though. They absolutely need him.
Yeah,
and they have to have him in there because he's such a tough at bat and he's a force. He's the one guy too that gives them a real presence.
Yeah,
he's got a real presence there when he's there.
I
it's
love
like
Brandon Belt. I just want to see him in there more.
Opposing pitchers don't want to face him, and also he anchors your defense. He's got a kind of a calming influence on everybody, and then he also allows guys like Flores to kind of play off the bench. If you have a healthy Longoria and a healthy Belt, I mean, personally, if you look at the Giants' infield this year, if you could go Longoria, Crawford, Estrada, Belt, Casali, that's a really strong defensive group right there.
Right.
So that also, when Belt's healthy, that enables them to, to use, guys like Wilmer off the bench, and it just makes their bench better. So, I mean, for the Giants this year, the positive surprise in my mind has been Luis Gonzalez, because now he gives them another outfielder who's got a good the one thing I love about Luis Gonzalez, and they were talking about it a little bit in the game today.
Hey, Larry, sorry. I think there's an ad running in the background. Or
did I get it?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know. Sometimes it stays quiet and all of a sudden out of nowhere, it just jumps in.
ESPN, man.
Yeah, damn ESPN with their. But yeah, the thing about one of the things about Gonzalez I really love is how competitive he is as a base runner.
Yeah,
he will take leads and he will force pitchers to throw over there because he takes a big lead. Now you could say he almost got picked off, and he did. But to me, I like a guy who's aggressive and continues to apply pressure to the opponent. There's tons of guys in the big leagues that are way faster than Luis Gonzalez, but the leads he takes and how aggressive he is on the base paths, he has to be accounted for. I like that.
Yeah, I like the base running of Gonzalez. I also like Donovan Walton. I like his speed. His glove is really solid. Now, he did have that one at bat. I love Dave Fleming's comment when he took the so-called ball four and he stood there at the plate, and then the third baseman rung him up and said he swung. But Dave Fleming said, when Donnie Walton retires, he will not go into sales.
Yeah. Well, he didn't sell it at all. He's like,
No.
He looks so guilty. It's like, it's almost like that kid that's got his hand in the cookie jar. He's like,
just drop that bat, run down to first, and then could have had a little rally. And then he kind of felt even worse and says, well, maybe I just go swing at this pitch 5 feet outside.
If you were in the NBA or the Premiership, you'd be like the worst flopper of all time, right? He's like too honest.
Yeah, but I like Walton. I think he adds a lot more versatility than, say, a Jason Vosler. Vosler can play third base or can give you some first base, but he's got the left-handed bat, but he can't play short like Walton. Walton came up as a shortstop out of Oklahoma State, I believe. And he really gets down the line fast on an infield grounder. Have you noticed how close he makes those plays at first base just on routine ground balls? So that tells me that he can get in, he can hit gappers, he can, score from first base on a ball in the gap or down even the left field line, that he can score. So I think Walton was one of those Farhan finds that's going to be kind of one of those guys that you really grow to like as a catalyst type guy that can come off the bench, can do different things, can give. I think they also needed an extra shortstop. I mean,
definitely
Tyro can play short, but then who plays second?
Yeah.
So you got to have a little bit of both, where you might want both those guys in the lineup one day to give Crawford a rest, because it looks like they're not going to put Listella out in the field too much this year.
Tomorrow it's Junis against Suarez, and then Rodon against Aaron Nola in the finale. Then the Giants move on to Miami. It'll be Alex Wood against Alcantara, Cobb against Hernandez. Webb goes against Pablo Lopez, who's had such a great start, and then Junis against undecided in that next game. So that's kind of the pitching matchups, guys. We're going to go till 6, another half hour or so. Let's get your thoughts on what a lot of people will be talking about as well, which is, the end of the Eastern Conference Finals and the beginning of the NBA Finals. The matchup is officially set. It's the Warriors and the Celtics. Boston's an interesting team here because they're a team that has done it on the road. They're 7-2 on the road in the playoffs, but only 5-4 at home. They beat Miami in Game 7 in Miami. They beat Miami in Miami 3 times in the Eastern Conference Finals to advance, and they're only the 4th team to reach the finals after being under 500 after 41 games. Remember, Boston started slow, and then they've just been absolutely rolling offensively. In the second half of the year, I believe they really got it going, and on both ends, offensively and defensively. It's funny. I've already seen people. There was some ESPN girl today talking about Steph Curry's has had some clunkers in the finals, and I'm sitting there reading that.
Vikings reporter for ESPN. I don't even know why she was talking about ball.
Yeah, I mean, and Cyrus was tweeting about it, and then I follow Cyrus, and then here's Cy's tweet, and it's pretty funny. He says, there are some people in the sports media industry, including Courtney Cronin here, who have no clue what they're talking about when it comes to basketball, and especially the Warriors. This is pure, unadulterated Steph slander here. And basically, she just said that Steph has not been the best player on his team in the finals. And, I mean, we all know he hasn't gotten a finals MVP. But there's a big difference between you have not added a finals MVP to your trophy case and you've been disappointing in the finals. Right. So somebody needs to explain to young Miss Cronin the difference between the two, because I looked it up, not to sorry to inject some, facts into the discussion, but I decided I would look up Steph Curry's performance in the finals. Guys, what I found is that Steph Curry has gone to the finals 5 times in his career. He's averaged in those 5 trips to the finals 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's one of only 8 players in the history of the NBA to even average 27, 6, and 6 in the regular season. So he did that in the regular season, and then he did it again. He's averaged that in the finals. So this notion that he's been some finals, as she said, he's had some clunkers in the finals. Yeah. It's just crap. I mean, that's not true at all. It's a completely false narrative and one that needs to end. So, I mean, if you're going to go on ESPN, you might and put that out there you better just get your facts, right? I mean, know what you're talking about. That's all I would say. No, I don't know her, and I don't really care about her, but all I'm just saying is, if you're going to say on a live mic, on a camera, Steph Curry's had some clunkers in the finals, maybe it would be better if he wasn't averaging 27, 6, and 6. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, how about this one? This one would kind of knock my socks off. So if you say, we lost Danny.
And like that, Danny was gone.
Danny's gone. Well, anyway, I was going to say,
back in, I'm sure.
Yeah, he'll be back. All right, and here he is. Hey, Dan, it's all good. So
what happened there, Danny? What happened? Buster or Sosha knock you off there? Knock you offline?
I don't know. I was just putting something.
You got a Dodger pregame starting here in a few minutes.
Yeah. We got the. I got to change my shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
So listen to this. Amongst NBA players with 100+ games in the NBA playoffs in their career, 100 games. These are the only 4 players that average 25, 5, and 5. Steph Curry, the Logo, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he should have gotten the MVP the year they gave it to Iguodala. And then the other 2, Durant played amazing.
But I mean, that's how they look. That's how they hunt for the negative on ESPN. Is there a story there? Yeah. You know what the story is? Steph's been to the finals 5 times, and despite the fact that he's one of the all-time greats, he's yet to win the MVP. But to twist that into some negative on Steph Curry, when in reality his teammates have been, Iguodala had an amazing series that could not be denied, and Kevin Durant. I mean, you're going to sit there and say Steph's had clunkers in the finals. Point to a clunker. I mean, when you're going for 30 in one of those finals, he averaged over 30. I mean, he's consistently one of the best rebounding guards. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just
the thing drives me crazy too, because for everyone that watched okay, he obviously that's what changed the series, was moving him into the starting lineup, and LeBron's efficiency went down. He still was good, but Iguodala, this is why I couldn't give him the Finals MVP. He was something crazy, like 14 of 31 from free throws. Like he was really keeping the Cavs in the games with those free throws. They were hacking him at times. And just for me, I don't know, like that's something that's pretty important. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't LeBron, that's the problem. It was like, think about this Eastern Conference Finals series. You know, some people are like, because Butler, man, people were like, damn, Butler's pretty inspirational. He's out there with like a bum knee and he's just balling, putting his team on his back. And you know what? Tatum gets the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I think we all are okay with it because they're the winning team. But yeah, probably Butler was the best player in the series. Because everyone was so butthurt that LeBron was going to lose the finals, they were like, yeah, but look how good LeBron is. And like, compared to how good LeBron is, look at how good Steph's doing. It's not even comparable. And then so people started a narrative built where it was like, well, how do we give it to Steph if he's the star and LeBron is, doing better? But like, that's always how it's been. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
When it comes to this series, originally last week, I think I said, before we knew it was Boston, I said, if they play Boston, I think I'm picking the Warriors in 7. After watching the game a little closer, the last 2 games.
Upon further review. Wait,
an inquiry coming. I'm going to take the Warriors.
I've consulted with my Dodgers sources, and they say,
yeah, they say probably the hell with the Bay Area, right? My Dodgers, right. Yeah. I'm going to pick the Warriors in 5 or 6. I'm not sure yet, because here's why. Boston is vulnerable on the road, or I mean at home. They've lost a lot of games in the Garden. And the Warriors are a team that I believe this veteran team knows to go. They're not going to let up. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. 4 more wins, and they're not going to take a game off. I don't even think they would take a game off if it was up 3-0, just because they know Boston, anything can happen. So, but I think that watching Boston yesterday, they do a lot of one-on-one basketball. Tatum just dribbles. They're smart, and they force a lot of shots. The Warriors, you watch the Warriors on offense, it's just constant ball movement, moving around. Boston, I thought earlier when I saw them play at Chase and the game, Steph got hurt and they really took it to him, and Williams looked tremendous down low. He was like, oh my goodness. But watching this game yesterday, Miami was able to get to the hoop quite a bit on them. And so I don't think they're like Memphis, where it was very difficult for the Warriors to drive on with Jackson and Adams. So you might see Boston take a page out of Memphis's playbook and play 2 bigs though at once to maybe throw off the Warriors.
That's what they'll do. That's what they've found something with having Horford in at power forward. But I don't know if it just depends if Rob Williams is healthy, to be honest. He looked horrible in that last game. I thought they should almost put Tice out there.
Yeah.
I like the Warriors, but this is what I got out of last night. When you go to the post game and you're watching the Celtics, what was the consistent theme? Man, we got over the hump. We got over the hump. Oh, we finally did it. We finally did it. You know what? We finally, finally got there. They feel like they've, like, win or lose, it's been a good year for the Celtics. They got out of the East and they got to the finals. They'd never admit it, but they're happy going home a loser. I really believe that, because where the Warriors have been to the finals, and the Warriors, their season's only a success if they win. Boston's season is a success either way. And that's the impression that I got, that Boston, they've tried so many times to get here. This is the first go around for this group. So yeah, is this a storied franchise that's been to the finals and won championships? Yeah. But those aren't any of these guys. These guys are all rookies in the finals. The Warriors, somebody had it in the chat. The Warriors have like 126. What is it here? 125. The Warriors players combined 126 total quarters played in the finals. 0 for Boston. So the Warriors have the experience advantage. The Warriors have the rest advantage. The Warriors have the expectation that they're playing with the more desperate hand. They don't know if they'll ever be here again. They're trying to add on to their dynasty. The Celtics are just happy to be there. And if they get beat, so what? They showed last night that they were, I heard 7 different guys say, we finally did it. We finally did it. So this was their mountain that they needed to climb. They climbed it, but they're going down in this series. And the number one reason they're going down is the Warriors will get healthy. The Warriors will be rested. Yeah, the Warriors, the matchup of Peyton coming back will help Golden State. Boston doesn't have a point guard. I think there's believe me, Boston's going to provide or present some amazing challenges. How do you defend Jason Tatum? How do you defend Jaylen Brown? Those are going to be huge things. How do the Warriors defend Al Horford consistently? Those are going to be big. But can Steph Curry free himself against Marcus Smart, who's big and strong and very, very tough? Those are all questions. But if you watch the Golden State Warriors in this run, they've been less dependent on Steph Curry than any of the previous runs. So just because you can D up Steph Curry doesn't mean you're beating this team. Golden State's deeper, more rested, more experienced, and they'll win the series. How many games? I'm not sure. My guess is it's going to go 6 or 7, but it won't be a whitewash. It won't be 4 in a row or even 5. I think Boston will get a couple games, but I like the Warriors for sure.
Yeah, and I heard Cy last night talking on Locked On Warriors. I believe he said that either I heard it or I read it, that this is one of the best teams in the history of the NBA. And I think what he was saying is the depth of this team, even though they only won 53 regular season games, this wasn't a regular season. This team was built for what we're facing right now, the NBA championship. And they were resting guys to get healthy. But if all those guys stay healthy all year long, and if you have Clay for the whole season, Green plays the whole season, and Curry and all those guys, they could have gone out there and won 65 games, but they got so much experience. They realize that's not the goal. The goal is to be healthy going into the playoffs. I've said this over and over again, and this is one of the things I try and really get through to people who badmouth teams during the regular season, that even people worried about where the Giants are at and this and that. We're talking May 30th. They're 26-21, and people are saying that, they're terrible. They're not going anywhere, and hey, sports is all about peaking at the right time. The Giants' 3 World Series championships, they were not the best team in the regular season in any of those 3 seasons, but they were playing the best ball at the end of September and going into October. So the Warriors, based on their experience, they knew exactly what they were doing by resting guys. They didn't care if they were the 2
Their whole
seed.
season's built for this now.
They didn't care if Memphis had home court advantage. They knew that they can go into Memphis and win 1 game. They weren't worried about even if they were the 4 seed. Dallas was pushing so hard to get that 4 seed and trying to. The Warriors knew what they had. This is a team that when you got that much veteran leadership and you've been to the finals over and over again, it's like night and day. And I think you're onto something, Larry, with the Celtics being kind of like Yeah, I was listening to that myself last night. Yeah, we got over the top. We finally did it. Even Jaylen Brown.
You would have thought they had won the NBA Finals the way they were talking last night.
Now I did hear Udoka in the locker room say, "Hey, we don't raise flags for Eastern Conference championships. This is not the Celtics way. We play for championships." Now that fits the Boston mantra of the past, but like you said, these guys have been struggling for 5 years to get through the Eastern Conference, and they have
to give them, they have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals like 4 out of the last 6 years.
Right. But what I'm saying is these guys, like Larry said, never making it to the NBA Finals itself. Their big hump was getting through the Eastern Conference, which they finally did, and it was like a relief off their back. Like, oh wow, we did it. Now they have a few days to get geared up, and I expect them to be a very, very competitive opponent. I don't see any game being easy in this series, but I do think the Warriors have enough firepower. And watching Boston last night, they didn't even play Pritchard, I don't believe. So their bench, as you get into tighter and tighter, more meaningful games, your bench shortens in the playoffs. Okay. And Boston basically has a 7-man rotation right now, where the Warriors, even though because of the experience and the veteran leadership, they're still 9-10 deep easily, especially with GP2 and Iguodala coming back. It looks like you can easily go 10 guys, and you can wear down the Celtics.
Yeah. So my take on it is I think the Warriors will win in 7. The big question for me, and this is, I guess, very counter to what you guys and Cy think. I think the Celtics are a better team. I think that it would be different if Celtics had home court. However, just because, like you were saying, this is their first time they got over the hump. Look, we've seen teams in the past where they get over the hump and they're just happy to be there and they get boat raced and they're not ready. We've also seen teams like the Raptors who are perpetual losers, losing in the most horrendous ways possible. And, they barely beat Philly on that crazy shot. And you know what? They showed up to the finals and it was almost like a relief. Like they were calm and they played like they were ready to be there. So I think we don't really know. My guess is it's somewhere in between, where it's kind of like the Warriors in the 2015 finals. I think the first couple games they're going to have, they're going to be a little shook. And I think it's going to be really important for the Warriors to jump on them early, because as the series goes deeper, I think the Celtics are going to get more and more comfortable. And that's where I think there's a little bit of concern.
To me, this is all about Golden State and their ability to take care of the basketball. It's as simple as that. And I think we've seen them make the adjustment in this last round where they're taking better care of it than they were going into that Memphis series. And if you look at the numbers, Golden State, in their wins, in their 4 playoff losses, they're averaging 16 turnovers a game. In their wins, that they cut that number down to 14 turnovers per game. That's really a key number right there, keeping those turnovers down. And I think also, not allowing Boston to feel like they have a shot. But I have a feeling that Boston's going to, my guess is this series, Boston's going to get game 1. And that'll be my guess. I think Boston's going to get game 1. I think Golden State's going to win game 2. I think Golden State's going to win in Boston once. I think it's going to be a 2-2 series going to game 5. And then I like Golden State to win game 5 and then win game 6 in Boston. So I to me, it's it's Golden State's more rested, and then the impact of having Peyton back will help their defense and give it that much more teeth. And you got to remember this about Golden State too: they're a better team than the record indicates. Why? Because Klay Thompson didn't even play until when? In January or whatever it was. I mean, he didn't come back forever. Klay Thompson was. Draymond Green, missed a ton of time. Steph Curry was out. I mean, Rice said it best. I mean, they were playing for this. I mean, they're it's kind of like running a marathon, and one, you got two marathoners, and one has run the 26 miles and the others, run like 10 miles, but is kind of wondering if they can run 26. And that's where we're at. And so Golden State knows exactly how much energy it takes to win, and they're going to be rested. They know exactly exactly how much energy they need to expend to get to this point, and they're going to load up. And I don't think. And the one thing about Golden State is Golden State has more guys in their prime too. And Boston's got some young players, but adding Porter, adding Bielitsa, adding Payton. Golden State's just got a number of guys. Even their rookies at this point, Kuminga and Moody can play off the bench. I mean, they're just they're a very deep basketball team that's focused and ready, and Draymond Green drives them. We all know he's kind of the ignition, and Steph Curry is out to kind of prove that, he can be, on the top of the hill. I expect Curry to go off in this series, and I think Golden State wins it. I don't think it will be 5. I think it'll be more like 6 or 7, but I think it's a really good series, guys, and I think it's going to be a very entertaining series, and this is going to be great for the NBA because you got East Coast, West Coast, you got an iconic franchise in the Celtics. Last time Warriors and Celtics got together, it was Wilt against Russell. So, I mean, I can't wait. Thursday night can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, let me give you another thought that I want to throw out here based on what I think you might see in this series that really, I think, helps the Warriors is the schedule. Game 1 is Thursday. Game 2 is not till Sunday, and Game 3 is Wednesday. There's 2 full days of rest between each of those games. Game 4 is the only game that has 1 day of rest in between. So Game 4 is Friday, June 10th, and then we got couple more days of rest. Game 5 is Monday the 13th. Game 6 is Thursday, and then Game 7, if necessary, is on a Sunday. So what that tells me that the Warriors you may see Clay and Steph playing 40 minutes a game because they have time to recover after the game. There's no 1 day of rest in between. You got 2 full days of rest, and now you only need to win those 4 more games. So why not Steph's in great shape. He can play 40 minutes. He doesn't need that come into the next quarter, play the whole first quarter, and then come in at the 6-minute mark. He could come in at the 8.5-minute mark of the second quarter and in the fourth quarter. So you gain an extra 5 minutes right there of Curry playing. Instead of him playing 35, 36, he's playing 40 minutes because of that. So you got Steph on the court more. And then look at the Warriors bench. I mean, if everybody's healthy, you got the starting 5, Steph, Clay, Looney, Green, and Wiggins. And then the next 5, you probably have Poole, Payton, Porter, Bielitsa, and Iguodala. And then that leaves Moody and Kuminga as your 11th and 12th men. I mean, the only guy odd man out that probably won't see any time unless it's for, the end of a quarter, 20 seconds, so a key player doesn't get a foul, might be JTA. But that is such a deep bench compared to what Boston has. But I don't see Boston playing more than 8 guys, So I think the Warriors can really go all out, pedal to the metal, play tenacious defense.
Who do you put on Tatum? Who do you put on Brown?
On Tatum, I'm going to go probably Draymond, and on Brown, Wiggins.
But then who do you put on Horford and Rob Williams?
Looney.
And then, but if they're both out there at the same time?
You could have Bielitsa out
I think
there.
I would put Green on Horford. I put Green on Horford.
He's too far away from the hoop, though, Larry. He plays way out there, and if he doesn't drive as much, you don't want to have Draymond.
I don't know if I want Draymond fouling out against the bigger Tatum.
Yeah, I just don't think they want him away from the basket.
I don't know what the answer is against Tatum, really, to be honest.
I'm not super concerned about Tatum.
Wiggins, maybe?
I think Wiggins, you go Wiggins on him, put Clay on Brown, Steph on Marcus, and then, you have a little bit of a 2-man game with Looney and Draymond, and they, just communicating, and they're kind of playing both at once. I think Looney could actually play Horford. I think Looney could be on the perimeter with Horford, and I think But I mean, Rob Williams is going to be catching lobs all day over Draymond is the only problem.
The Warriors, though, are healthier. Almost every guy we're naming with Boston is pretty dinged up. I mean, Rob Williams is pretty dinged up. Marcus Smart's not healthy. Tatum's dinged up. Brown's got a chronic knee issue. So I don't know. To me, I think Golden State is going to look real sharp. And I think Boston, I agree with whoever said get them early, because I think if you can get them early and make them kind of question whether they belong, by the time Boston wakes up and realizes they've got some real advantages, maybe you'll be up 2-0. Portola 45 says play a zone and force the Celtics to shoot the 3-ball, and that will lead to a sweep. What do you guys think about that? What do you think of that concept?
They're streaky. I mean, what? Not to just. We'll get back to that. But what do you think about this? Because I saw this stat floating around: is that the Celtics. Obviously, the Warriors haven't been the Warriors, but the Celtics have won 6 out of the last 7 matchups and 9 out of the last 13, I believe.
I throw all that out.
Throw it all out
to this series. I mean, in 2020 and 21, the Warriors, the year they won 15 games, was that 19 or 20? They won 15 games. There was nobody. Of course, the Celtics are going to beat a nameless team for the most part. And then last year, I believe they were missing Clay he missed the whole season. So Boston, let's credit Boston as well, Danny. They've brought it in the regular season. Regular season NBA means 0. Yep. I really look for the Warriors to put the clamps down because they're healthy. You can play guys with spurts of, instead of going out there and playing a 7-8 minute spurt, you can rotate guys in and have them just go pedal to the metal for 4 minutes and play tenacious, in-your-face defense. Porter's going to get 20 to 25 minutes. He has a 25-minute limit anyway. He had all year, so I don't see them pushing it over that. But if Iguodala is healthy and can come in and give them 10, 15 minutes a game, that just stretches the rotation. And then you've got – I mean, we're not even looking at Moody and Kuminga being in this rotation possibly, but Kerr may do that. He may just – but I really think about how deep that – think about what the Warriors – what you just said there. They get 2 guys who are almost assuredly going to be starting caliber players in the NBA for the next 5 to 10 years that aren't even really in this rotation. Right. They're just kind of guys. I mean, that's how stacked Golden State is. And both those guys are, willing and eager and healthy and, they're ready to contribute. They're just there. Yeah. They're so loaded that they don't need them right now. With Peyton available and Iguodala hopefully available and Porter, I just look for the Warriors to play the defense of their life. I really do. I do think they're going to play their best basketball since. Should we bust out the Dirty Dancing soundtrack? The time of our lives. So should we? Yeah, I just watched that last night. Top Gun, on you. That's on you. That's on you. First Top Gun. Oh, you watched Top Gun. You watched Dirty Dancing or Top Gun? No, Top Gun. I watched Top Gun first because I want to go see the. I thought you were going to say nobody puts Coccimilgio in the corner. Do you guys remember that line from Dirty Dancing? Nobody puts baby in the corner. Remember that one? Yeah. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Right, I'm these dated references. I look at Rye. I see just a vacant look. He's giving me that look, and I realized, damn, that's an old movie reference. That's too old of a reference for him. You're in the headlights. Yeah, exactly. Jaguayo 56 donates $2, and he throws this word salad together that I'm not really sure. Can you decipher his word salad there? There's probably some punctuation that needed to be had. He's saying Draymond said some play for the 82 game season, champs play for the last 16. Yes. There you go. There you go. Hey, where we go? You needed a young fella to. Seriously, I needed that. That was like the lucky logger caps. You know what I mean? It's like exactly what was that on there? All right, couple last thoughts from the chat, and then we'll call it a night. I'm barbecuing chicken tonight. I'm going. I went to Lenardi's, got the chicken, got the grill ready. Little barbecue chicken. Favorite piece of chicken, Danny? Go. Oh, no doubt about it. It's the thigh. The thigh. Yeah. Bone in, bone out. I love a boneless thigh.
You love a boneless thigh. Yes, you do. Damn you. Okay, so this is what I got. I got a full chicken cut up. All right, that's what they'll do for you, Lenardi. They'll cut that bad boy up. He said, "Do you want the back?" I said, "No." Do you go back? No, you get rid of the back, don't you? Or would Danny probably wants the back for like a soup or something, right?
Nah, I don't need it.
You don't need it. So I told him cut out the back. So then I saw the drumettes sitting there, and I got some of that red hot sauce.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about maybe doing some like barbecue buffalo, like drumettes.
Barbacuffalo.
Yes. So I'm gonna go I think I'm gonna go buffalo drumettes on one side of the grill. The other side of the grill is gonna be some thighs, bone in, juicier.
Bone in.
Bone in, juicier. And then they had the whole bird cut up, so you get a couple wings. I can't stand the wings, to be honest.
Wings,
who wants a wing? Does anybody ever say, "Give me a wing"?
Wing is like the extra in April, 2 men on the roster.
Come on, you want a wing? That's like, I say that the same way Jordan was like, the glove. You want a wing. No, but then there's I've got the drumsticks, the bone-in thighs, or the breast. I'll go breast. I'm not afraid to tell you I'll go breast.
Hey, Dark Side Night
with
33X.
What's he saying?
Dark Side Night 33X with a donation.
Oh, what's his donation? He's donating $4.99. And what is that? Can you
gold medal?
First place gold medal and then a thumbs up.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
On the chicken, yeah.
I think that's a reference to the Lucky Lager, isn't it? That's the Lucky Lager cap right there.
Oh yeah.
He's giving us a Lucky Lager cap. Dark Side Night 33X. Thumbs up. Okay, what else do we got on the chat here? Let's see.
Oh, you know what? I've got one more fun video that I think you guys would like. Another baseball video. I don't know if you guys saw it today.
Portola 45 going to an adult channel after this. Great. Good to know.
The bots are out heavy today on the holiday.
That's a versatile listener there.
Yeah. I think he was commenting on all the
they're in the chat today. The bots have been working overtime today.
Well, that's what happens when you're blowing up. They want to get in the chat.
Ground ball, right side base.
Oh, my bad.
I think she's lost that love and feeling. Anonymous. Now we're just getting crude. All right, guys, give us a final thought. Giants get the win on Memorial Day. I'm about to barbecue chicken. Rye's getting us banned from YouTube. And Danny, also we got the NBA Finals starting Thursday night. You guys got a final thought before we pull the plug on the hour and 36-minute, 22-second live stream right now?
I'm looking for the Giants they've won 2 in a row. They haven't played well for a few weeks. They really need to get hot. The Dodgers win every game. Can't speak here.
They played today. Did they play already today?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Let me check.
I'm not a closet Dodger guy, like you said.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck's going on with the Dodgers.
I'm up front about it.
Yeah, exactly. I always name my dog Cal Daniels. The Dodgers play tonight, 7:10, so you can put your jersey on. They're playing the Pirates. Get your Walker Buehler jersey on and go root them on. Dodgers. By the way, if you like to bet baseball, you know what the Dodgers are favored tonight? They're minus 350. Not 250. They're minus 350.
I'm going to take the Pirates then.
Take the Pirates.
What's the run line?
Probably 1.5 with some juice on that.
Check with your bookie. What do I look like? Ask Jeeves over here.
All right, so
my freaking search engine for you.
Let's see the Giants.
Do I amuse you? Oh no, sorry.
Go on a really good winning streak, sweep the Phillies, and then go into Miami and win 3 out of 4, and finish this road trip with a 7-3 road trip.
Nice. I like the way that sounds.
My final thought is just, hey, I'm not really thinking that we're going to catch the Dodgers this year. I'm not giving up hope, but I'm kind of like, let's just get to the playoffs. Let's get everyone healthy, have this, great 1-2-3 punch. And, maybe we can make a run. And with that in mind, let's take a look at the wild card.
Wild card standings.
Wild card standing, because the wild card standings. Okay, so we got San Diego, St. Louis, and then San Francisco's in the third slot.
Right.
If you look below us, I guess if we're maybe afraid of the Braves, but
we got a 3.5 game lead on the wild card, is what you're saying.
Game lead on the Braves, and then after the Braves, it's the Diamondbacks, Rockies, Phillies, Pirates, Miami, Cubs, Washington, Cincinnati. My point is, I think that it's pretty safe to say that we've got a wild card. As long as we don't implode, we've got a wild card slot locked up. So that's what I'd like to just say is, relax.
Well,
relax. Yeah, we got the relax in it. Let me ask Lasorda. Let me ask my dog.
Exactly.
Hey, Lasorda, come here. Come here, Lasorda.
Let me check with my my favorite dog, Paranoski.
Yeah, come on, Ronnie. How you doing, buddy?
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, and here comes Buster to knock his butt off the. And wait, Buster just came in with a bat. He just took a bat to.
Oh, look at that! Danny's reenacting the Roseboro Marischal with his dogs. This is a beautiful moment.
Yeah, there you go, Buster.
Here comes my two dogs, Steve Sachs and Rudy Law, and they're come here, Saxy.
How would you like to have two dogs named Oral and Sax?
Out of here podcast. My dog Eric Karros. I'm not a Dodger fan. That's my dog Eric Karros.
Monster bat.
Yeah. Let's play one highlight that we won't get dinged for.
I promise this one won't. It's a minor league baseball thing. It's all around the internet right now.
Okay, let's see this. But I want one more of the Monster Slam. I need the Monster Slam before I start barbecuing.
Yeah, that's original material.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah. I'm setting this up. This is just some of the best.
What are we watching here?
Okay, we're about to watch an excellent play by the catcher in terms of if you like your catcher being able to block the home plate, you're gonna like this.
All right, Mike Sochip's the best at it.
Joey Bart. Right side base hit. Valera rounding third, coming home. The throw will come through. It is. They haven't got him yet. On the plate and tag.
You just
wow.
Well, that's a flex.
Oh, you know what I would have done? I want to see that again. You know what I would have done?
What?
I would have run around him and pushed him off from the back.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
That's outside the baseline.
Valera rounding third,
just walk around him. He was giving you to walk around. He's sitting down.
Okay.
Okay, get up. Walk around him. Walk around him.
That was classic. Looks like the base runner might have hurt his ankle on the play too, so he didn't want any.
Got around him and just shoved him off. That would have been classic.
Oh, that is awesome. That was fantastic. All right.
What's Larry's final thoughts?
There's a lot. My final thought is just I can't wait for Thursday night. And you know what? In Curt Casali, I believe. I just think Curt Casali is a winner, man.
Well, I did not know.
In some ways, guys, and I don't know how you feel about this. I think Curt Casali might be one of Farhan's very best maneuvers because he's a great clubhouse guy. He was terrific last year. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's got respect on the staff. He's really mature, really likable. And he's, I just when he's not hitting, he still has value. But when he's hitting, you're like, wow, I really like this guy. So he's hitting, and he threw out a guy at second in a bang huge play, great tag, but it was a perfect throw, and that guy Quinn was fast, and then he hit one out against a reliever who's been pretty overpowering against right-handed hitters. So yeah, that was a very, very impressive game for Curt Casali, and I like the Warriors to beat the Celtics in a few nights. All right, that's going to do it for us. But before we get out of here, can we please one more time with feeling, give me the great broadcaster out west. On the West Coast, we've had Vin Scully, Bill King, Lon Simmons, Al Michaels, The Padres, Jerry Coleman, Hank Greenwald, just a lot of great announcers. Dan Coccimilgio. I mean, there's just all.
Again, he kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam. Oh, no, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Handful, whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah,